Thought our guys battled, but we did not do enough to put the ball in the end zone offensively with our multiple trips down to the red zone. Pretty explosive, kind of competitive day moving the ball, but we've got to find. We basically, had a better day on third down. Third, fourth down, 50%. Gave ourselves a chance for points, but we weren't able to overcome kind of the fact that they win the turnover battle 2-0. We did that 2 weeks ago, and I told our team that is rare and not a formula, to win games consistently. And showed up again today, and was very unfortunate. But I thought defensively their ability to stop the run against a team that was going to come out and try to run the football on us was a real positive, but clearly a lot of explosives. And Jalen and their offense made some big-time plays that kind of limited our ability there in the second half to truly try to come all the way back and win the game. I thought we had a touchdown chance there to TJ, and ended up being a fourth down that we convert, and then we've got to find a way to put that one in the end zone. But thinking back on the red zone trips, I think we might have missed an op on a flat on one of our run pass option plays. We snapped the ball over the quarterback's head for a minus 22-yard loss, and then I got to get some clarification just on the holding call. Seemed to be a pretty routine kind of play, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But short week, guys are already in the recovery mode now, and we'll turn our guys over and go compete on Thursday night. Injury updates: just Zay Scott and C.J. Ham. Zay Scott had a right wrist and C.J. had a left hand. Those guys will be evaluated here, currently going on right now.
Kevin, when Jalen Hurts makes the plays he makes on those third downs, especially when he gets out, how difficult is that to defend just when he's able to extend things as long as he did on a couple?
Yeah, it was a big part of the game plan was going to try to contain him as much as we could to the pocket and try to get home and see if we can, first and foremost, force them into what seemed like, I don't know if I'm right on this, but it felt like 3 of their third down conversions, maybe the 3 they had in the game, were all long yardage kind of, pretty back-breaking kind of plays when you've done everything to force those D&Ds of what they are, and then they not only end up converting, but for some explosive gains there. So I know our guys competed all day long. I thought the defense, even with us turning the football over for a touchdown, and then they were able to kind of give us some ops to keep that competitive and stay in the football game. And it was back and forth, just trying to find a way to put the ball in the end zone and at least find a way to get a lead at some point there in the second half. Had no issues moving the football. It was points, and that has not really been our problem. And we were able to rectify some things on third down, but a lot of self-inflicteds did show up in that red zone that make it hard to put the ball in the end zone.
Kevin, what did you see kind of in the second half that made it as you guys as rhythmic offensively through the air as it?
Well, I think throughout most of the day it felt like we did a lot of good things in the pass game. I thought our guys, we had some early success in the pass game, moving it between the 20s. Then they made some adjustments, and we made some real-time adjustments to kind of keep the momentum and find guys like Jordan Addison, TJ, Speedy. All those guys had some really, really nice plays throughout the day, and I thought Justin was his normal self from a standpoint of being a problem, and there was some real emphasis to try to limit his impact, which opened up some opportunities for some of the other guys. And when we could, against a pretty good interior player there in 98, when we could hold up and allow the plan to kind of come to life, we had some real opportunities down the field, and enough to move it, like I said, but at the same time, 22 points when you give them 7 off of a turnover, and ended up in a very long situation coming off of a penalty, and end up having the ball kind of ruled out of bounds on a lateral there that put us in third and forever, and then turn it over on that third down. Just plays that it just feels like we put ourselves in some of the situations of the football game that although they competed, we've got to clean up. We can't allow, maybe third down execution one week isn't up to the standard, and then it trickles down to the red zone when you do have a good day on third down to possess the football quite a bit in the game and try to stick with the run game as much as possible to then allow you to be explosive throwing the football.
Kevin, you said the holding in the red zone was sort of routine. What do you mean by that?
Just a normal technique that you see, you kind of see around the league from a trap. It's called a trap. Knock a guy's hands down. Got to go back and watch it. Didn't see it real time, but I think the officials were. There was some discussion amongst them, and they made the call, and they're gonna make those calls, and can't give them the opportunity to throw those penalties, because penalties and negatives in the red zone make it really hard to come away with points or 7.
Did you get any clarity or understanding of why TJ's touchdown was overturned?
Really, my question was kind of connected to TJ's play to the Saquon Barkley challenge that I had earlier on in the game, because it seemed like a very kind of similar premise of why they should maybe be similar, but I did not.
Being obvious or not obvious? Or?
Yeah, I did not get any. I'm not a part of the conversations with Bill or New York, but the side judge that I was standing with tried to update me as much as possible, but the main update that I got was incomplete pass.
Kevin, what did you see on Carson's first interception?
Yeah, they brought a man pressure where they dropped a defensive end out, gave up a little penetration there. I think 98 was over the center, trying to isolate him. We're doing a lot of things to try to combat with what we do with our slides and things like that, but they were able to kind of dictate the look right there, and thought we had a chance maybe at Justin. If we could have one more click to let him clear that dropper, but at the same time, I think Carson had to get rid of the ball, and they had a dropper right in the initial window of the play, and it was a critical play in the game for sure.
Kevin, just how would you assess Carson's play as a whole?
Yeah, I thought he competed. I mean, clearly he was able to allow our offense to be explosive. I think there were some. Plays that, the turnover plays are the first one, obviously. Even if we end up having to take a sack right there, the interceptions for points the other way are massive plays in a game. And then, we were third and forever, or second and forever, whatever it was. And we kind of had a kind of designer type move the pocket type play. Didn't think we particularly protected very well on that one based upon the schematics of the play. But then that's not a time that we want to be heaving that ball down the field as much as, maybe where the intent of it was. But listen, he was trying to compete. He thought he saw a chance to make the throw and ends up essentially being like a punt in many ways sometimes on those plays. But the first one was, good defensive call by them, thinking you're going to get man-to-man and maybe the perfect look for the play. And as we talk about sometimes, especially when 18's on the field, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So we got to confirm that and make sure that those things don't happen.
Kevin, after the Hawkinson catch gets overturned, did you think at all about kicking the field goal there and saving a little time before?
Yep, I did. It was just a matter of it being 4th and 2. The idea of still getting 7 right there was something that I wanted to be aggressive on, and then just knowing that if we did have a scenario where with all 3 of our timeouts left, a scenario where we were getting it back, if we could get 7 right there, hold them, and then the way Will was kicking the ball, thought the longer, since we were already so far down the field, Ben, you clearly, if you have to exhaust your 3 timeouts and then move it maybe 35 yards or so and give Will a chance to win it, was kind of the thought process there. I did think I think we got the conversion, and then I believe there was a sack, and that was a critical play to eat up so much clock and then try to get into the right play where we had a chance at TJ, I believe, on the next one.
Last 2.
Kevin, will this be more evaluation on quarterback going into Thursday night, or do you stay with Carson going in a short week? How do you?
Yeah, I think we first and foremost, I thought he competed and got to see how he comes out health-wise. Took some, he had to use his legs there a couple times on the last drive. We'll see how he turns over, and I know Max was ready to go today, and JJ was the emergency 3, but JJ was able to get some work last week. We'll see how he feels as well, and on a short week we're gonna put together the best plan we can, and that's also includes the players available to us.
Last one. It just seems like from the games that you've lost, it's sort of been catastrophic plays. Is there something that you can pinpoint as a similarity through those losses that's happened?
Well, I think, the one thing looking back on it during the bye is those 2 losses happened to coincide with, 2 of the original starting 5 linemen going out, at least offensively. And then, were some of those catastrophic plays tied to those plays. I think each one of them have their own story. But today was a little bit more about it didn't really feel like we played a very complimentary football game. When one side, stopping the run and getting them off the field, we were able to move the ball and possess the football quite a bit today, but not get 7 in the red zone when we got down there enough. And then when it kind of became felt like a little bit more of offensively, we were doing a lot of good things to move it. We just couldn't quite make that one stop to kind of truly flip the game is what it felt like today.
Thanks, everybody. Will Carson up next.